All right, welcome back to We Don't Care Gamers. In this episode, we're going to go find or talk about the mining resources and other resources we need for the game in Kindlewaste. So we've arrived at the Kindlewaste fast travel, and if we look off to the north, we're going to see where our favorite mining operation for iron is. It's right over there. It didn't change in forging the path. This playthrough, this episode, is going to be the same as it's been for others. Now, I'm going to be on the advanced glider. When you first arrive here, you may be on the advanced glider, you may be on the extraordinary glider, and you may not have ghost glider. What I want to test and see is if, and I have updraft, if I can make it across on the advanced glider. Now, it's very tight. So when you're gliding here, I've got updraft, and I'm going to try to hit the closest point to where the iron mine is, and it's right in that hole right there that we're going to be going through. So just trying to make a point here that you don't need the ghost glider, you don't even need the extraordinary glider. When I first arrive here, I've got double jump. Let me get my stamina up. There we go. When I first arrive here, I don't even have the the intermediate glider. Got a birdie I could probably got to deal with, but I've got I'm pretty high level and strong there, so yeah. So we just drop right down in here, and there we go. Here's our favorite iron mine. Nothing's changed in forging the path. Zoom in, and we just glided from Kindlewaste. We went across, barely made this ledge here, came up around. Be prepared to fight a birdie, and yeah, there we go. All right, we're back to the Kindlewaste fast travel, and we just were over there getting our iron. We're going to go get the Brittle Shroud Flakes, and they're actually, we passed them when we came across from where we can farm saffron, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. Again, I'm on the advanced glider. And this is the canyon that we came up out of the shroud when we crossed over. And I'm just going to glide right down. So it's near the out of the shroud exit in the canyon. So you can come down here. You can farm, harvest your brittle flake. It's all here. This stuff is all over the shrouded area in Kindlewaste. Right, so we got this when we were even coming to Kindlewaste. So there we go, brittle shroud flake, and you're going to need a lot of this. So you can come down here. There's a stalker down there. I'm going to double check in forging the path whether the stalker is still there. But there's a couple of mobs there that might cause a problem for you if you're low level and don't have the gear. But yeah. So next, let's talk about saffron, because that did change in forging the path release. All right, we're back to Kindlewaste Ancient Spire, the fast travel, and we're going to be looking off to the north. And we actually, when we got here, we came from Nomad right there, and we came around. We went through Brittle Bush, and we came up around. We went through an area, and I'm back on the ghost glider again because I want this to go as quick as possible. I'm going to use updraft. There we go. And we're going to go back over there. Now, you might have left an altar there until you get amount of saffron, either to start farming or to do what you want to do. But we basically came through Rose Shell Burrow, and we're gliding across here, and normally I put an altar right up on the hill there before I cross over, arriving to Kindlewaste Ancient Spire. So you got a couple of birdies that are up here. You saw them when we were coming down. You got one there and you got one there. That was an ad in forging the path. One of the things that just frustrated me a little bit, a lot of grappling plants here. Yeah, I really don't care about those. They essentially plus 80 mana, but I really don't use them. But one saffron right here. Make sure you're grabbing other loot. And 2 saffron here. So there's a lot less saffron here than we saw before. And I'm going to keep looking. You get saffron bits and pieces when you're traveling, but normally I just come down here and I'm grabbing like 40. I'm grabbing everything I need. So a lot less saffron here, a lot more grappling plants, and just going to have to deal with it. Get back to your base and start growing your saffron. So we picked up 18. That's more than half what I normally get. And I think I might even have loot amount turned up. So anyways, we're dealing with it. All right, we are back to the Kindlewaste Ancient Fast Travel Ancient Spire, and we're looking off the south west. This is where we get our Ghost Glider, back over there at the Sun Temple. And if we look right down there, there is a plethora of vultures, so we can get our Vulture Talons. Now, for this episode, I cranked up the amount of enemies to many. And yeah, if you're just getting here a little weaker, I wouldn't do that because these things can hit like a truck. So when we come down here, let's see if they're back up, because I was down here earlier, not seeing them. I'm still not seeing them. There we go. Look at all of those vultures. Oh my goodness. So I taught them a little bit. And I'm high level with an AoE. I don't think I have, I might have passive turned up, so I gotta chase them down. Otherwise, they're all gonna attack you. So it's up to you with your gameplay and your farming strategy, what you wanna do. You can place a wider range of aggro so that they will come after you, and you're going to get all sorts of Vulture Talons. So great place to get your Vulture Talons. You're going to need quite a few of those when you're playing through. I got 42. Loot amount I think is turned up. So again, adjust how you want to play. If you want to go with just normal defaults, yeah, enjoy the grind. It's fun. All right, we are back to Kindlewaste Ancient Spire, and this time we're going to go for Sulfur. Sulfur is all over the place. There's my first one that I go to is right here. Just need a quick hit of Sulfur. There's another one that's right here. Let's go to the first one. So we're just going to jump over the side and head on down. You'll start to see yellow sulfur. Try not to aggro the birdies. Try not to fall into that hole right there. Okay, try not to fall into that. And boom, you got some sulfur here. Now, it is kind of deep when you're mining this. You can go inside a little bit and around, and you're going to get enough sulfur probably to do what you want to do. Let's look at the other one. Now we're going to head to the second spot, which is actually in a cave. You can hit it from the top. Let me make sure I'm gliding the right way. Right here. So let's just land right down in here. So I got all that sulfur. You can cut your way down from there. You can land on that and get sulfur. You have a bunch of sulfur that is right here that you can start farming, and then look at all that. Look at all that sulfur. So we're sitting right here on the map, and I wouldn't go any deeper, there's no need, but all the sulfur that you can possibly need is, you can start there at the top, work your way down, and come down here. So we're sitting right here on the map, and ancient spire is right here in Kindlewaste. So just due north and boom, you are hitting up Sulfur in forging the path. All right, we're back to the ancient spire, Kindlewaste ancient spire, and this time we're going for Lapis or Lapislazuli. I just call it Lapis, and we are right down here under this rock bridge right here, and there's scorpions you got to deal with. Typically, what I will do is not aggro the birdie there. I will land up here just to check things out. If you've got ranged, you could try to do the scorpions, but if you glide right over here, all the Lapislazuli that you'll need. Lapis is how I just say it, right? And there's some scorpions down there you got to deal with and all that fun stuff. But Lapis is all over the place. We saw it when we first started heading to Kindlewaste, but I think you're getting the theme here. I try to do resources that are very close to my altars or the ancient spires, all right, the fast travel points, so I can very quickly get to the resources that I need when I need them. All right, we are back to Kindlewaste Ancient Spire Fast Travel. It's starting to get dark, and this is actually the best time to find Shroud Sand. And you can make Shroud Sand, but why, do that when you've got a ton of Shroud Sand all over the place? So when it starts to turn dark, it's easier to find Shroud Sand. It's big orange blobs that are on the ground. I'm going to go to one that's probably the easiest, and not easy because there's a lot of mobs around it, but you can find Shroud Sand, blotches of it throughout the entire area. See, we're looking for that orange glow right there. Hopefully not reddish glow, because that would be lava. Look at all the orange that's down there. There's also a ton of mobs here, so I tend to land a little further away so that I can pull them and fight them. But again, this is my level 45. I've got level 50 weapons on here, so it's a little bit easier. But a lot of Shroud Sand here for you to get, and I would get that as quickly as I could. And you can go around this area. There's some chests in here, silver chests. I think there's even a gold chest in Forging of the Path, but I haven't looked for it yet. I started over another character, and I'll be doing all of this when we're coming through. But there's a lot of angry mobs here that will aggro on you as you're going around. But a lot of Shroud Sand right here to do, as well as EXP and other things that you're going to need. So bomb bugs, which I don't like. And mobs, here they all come. They're getting angry, but a great place to farm resources that you want and need. All right, so when we're coming through, we got a silver chest right here. Don't care about it, and a lot of Shroud Sand, and that was the reason for coming here. Now there is a much better place, but also a much more difficult place, and we're going to go there next just to show it off. All right, we are back at Kindlewaste, and we're looking off to the west, and there is a fight town right down there with a lot of mobs and a lot of action. So you got to be careful when you're coming here, depending on how strong you are. But I'm on the Ghost Glider. It's pretty easy to glide the whole distance. So let's hit C for center. We're coming over this direction for a couple of reasons. One is an elixir well to do if you're doing all of that for your achievement, as well as your skill points. But there is a lot of Shroud Sand and Shroud particles off the mobs and all of that fun stuff. So you can see you got Shroud Sand right down there. You got a blotch of it. You've got quite a battle in here, depending on how many enemy you've got turned up on that. And there's the elixir well. Let's go over there first. I think that's what I marked. So let's just go right down here. I want to play it safe. So you got some interesting things to fight here. So the first thing that we're after is this Shroud Sand that's right here. Then again, depending on how strong you are, I can one-shot these. These are very annoying. They shoot electric bolts down on you. Let's see here. Look at that Shroud Sand over there. Lots of mobs. Just get them ringing. Lots of critter parts. Lots of everything down here. Look at that. More Shroud Sand. More mobs. And the thing about when you come here to farm is if you're looking for shroud particles, this is just my favorite place to come for shroud particles, critter glands, and everything like that. Now, again, I've got an AoE shock, so a lot of stuff dies before it even gets to me here. So just be very, very careful when you're here, and you're going to have a lot of fun, all right? So, and you're going to get some EXP when you're down here too, and even some vultures if you're interested in that. So we are sitting right here on the map. Here is Kindlewaste Ancient Spire. Here is my Nomad Mountain Base, which I talk about in the playthrough. So you kind of get an idea. Here's Nomad Ancient Spire, Umber Hollow. So I just come from Kindlewaste, and with the Ghost Glider, it just makes it a lot easier to come over here, right? Again, Shroud Sand is all over the place. I just don't like hunting it down, spending a lot of time. I just like coming in here and getting it quickly and getting back to what I need to craft or do. All right, we're going to wrap up now. We covered a great deal, I think, in this for the primary resources that you're going to want to harvest and farm. So here in Kindlewaste, we got our iron, which is right here. We picked up some shroud flakes, which is right here. We went into saffron, which is across the way here in Rochelle Burrow. We did Vulture Talons, which is just a little bit south of us when we came in from the Kindlewaste Ancient Spire. We talked about Sulfur. There's a couple of spots here. Sulfur's all over the place, but again, I want to be close to where my altars or my fast travels are. We talked about Lazuli, which is right down here under this stone bridge, kind of guarded by some scorpions. And then we talked about Shroud Sand, which is all over the Shroud area. You can come down here, but you got to hunt and peck for it. The best resources for this are over here. So when you're coming over to do this elixir well, it's just surrounded by Shroud Sand. And of course, you can make Shroud Sand at your base, but yeah, why not just save the resources? You're after the EXP and other things anyway, so do that, all right? So not much change, I think, from the wake of the water. Landscape changed a little bit, of course, a lot less saffron than we would be used to. I'm going to look for another place for saffron, but I usually start growing it as soon as possible when I get back to the base. So until that next episode, which I think we're going to start heading towards Albany and talk about the resources there, like coal and other fun stuff that's there. So until that next episode, happy gaming.